Hello. In this segment, we will be reviewing the application process for a conversion of licensure for a registered nurse or a licensed practical nurse from a single state license to the multi-state license for Washington State. Once you are logged into your Secure Access Washington account, you will have to add your service for the Department of Health for the online application portal. I've already added that here. And then you will access the online application portal by the Department of Health. We'll go ahead and access that. Hit continue. The first thing the online application portal is going to have you do is verify your first and last name, your email, your birthday, and your address if anything has changed. What we have listed here is the Department of Health address. It'll have you update your phone number, and you go ahead and click update if you have anything to change. You can see here that this account had previously applied for a single state Washington State RN license, so that will not be an option available within the online application portal for this nurse. However, for the sake of this presentation, this nurse is going to be applying for a registered nurse multi-state license. So if we scroll down in the list here, we will see the option for the registered nurse multi-state license. We'll go ahead and click on that. And then the first question that's going to pop up on screen here is select the credential that you are applying for. And our system here for the online application portal is going back into our database for the Department of Health and verifying that this nurse applicant has already been issued a single state RN license and is wanting to convert to a multi-state license. So I'll click on that button. And then the questions that are seen here on screen will be the same exact questions that a first-time applicant for Washington State will also see. So the first question is, are you the spouse or registered domestic partner of military personnel? If an applicant marks yes, then you will be prompted to submit a copy of your spouse or domestic partner's military transfer orders to Washington State and one of the following documents, either a copy of your marriage certificate to show proof of marriage, or a copy of a state's declaration or registration showing you are in a state registered domestic partnership with a member of the U.S. military. If I click no, then the application will just proceed. The next thing you'll have to do is enter your education. And this is the education that was obtained to first obtain your RN or LPN license. So you'll go ahead and click, for the sake of this, we'll say Washington and Seattle, University of Washington, school type, it's college, university, program type, BSN, type of degree training, BSN, graduated, and go ahead and enter your graduation date, June 1st, 2019. Okay, the next option you'll see here is the method of licensure. Again, if you're applying for your first license with Washington State, you will see different options here. You would see either applying by examination, meaning that this is your first RN or LPN license in the state of Washington or another state. You'd see either endorsement or examination educated outside of the United States. So those are the various options. For this application, since this individual test applicant already has been issued a Washington State single state license, the only option available is the multi-state license conversion. I currently have an active Washington State single state license and am applying to convert to a multi-state. We'll go ahead and select that. Next, you'll see the question, will Washington State be your primary state of residence? If you mark no, the application does not allow you to proceed. This is because in order to hold a multi-state license in the state that you are applying for, the primary state of residence, meaning where you pay your taxes, hold your driver's license, must be the same state that you're applying for. So in this instance, we're going to mark yes. And then you'll be prompted for one of the following two questions. Either 1, I am declaring Washington State as my primary state of residence in compliance with the primary state of residence guidelines. I have attached one or more of the following legal documents verifying Washington is my PSOR. Or I am currently a resident of another U.S. state. I am in the process of moving to Washington State within the next 60 days, and I would like to begin the application process for obtaining a multi-state license in Washington State. I understand that I cannot be issued a multi-state license until I complete the move and subsequently declare Washington State as my primary state of residence. Either option selected is going to prompt the additional list of documents that you'll have to upload. We just need one of these documents uploaded. See, no matter which option is selected, the same items are listed. And then you'll also have to select your attestation here, stating a nurse applying for a license shall provide evidence of the nurse's primary state of residence. The primary state of residence is where you vote, pay taxes, hold a driver's license, etc. Please visit our website or the Nurse Licensure Compact website for more information on the Nurse Licensure Compact. Under penalty of law, I understand knowingly providing false information may be grounds for denial, probation, reprimand, suspension, or revocation of a license. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that the above is true and correct based on my personal knowledge. So we'll go ahead and select the attestation. Again, this test account here, I've named the person nurse applicant, which is why you'll see the NA and then it'll date. And next, we will see the felony conviction question. Have you ever been convicted or found guilty or entered into an agreed disposition of a felony offense under applicable state or federal criminal law? If you mark yes, again, the application is going to stop at this point. If you have ever been convicted or found guilty or entered an agreed disposition of a felony offense under applicable state or federal criminal law, you do not qualify for multi-state license under the Nurse Licensure Compact. Please visit our website for more information on how to apply for a single state license. Again, this test account has already applied and been granted a single state license, so that wouldn't be an option, but for a first-time applicant, it would be an option to still go ahead and apply for a single state. But for the sake of this, we're going to say no and proceed. Next question, are you currently enrolled in an alternative to discipline program? An alternative program means a non-disciplinary monitoring program approved by a licensing board. For Washington State, we have the WHOOPS program. So if you mark yes, again, the application is going to stop and direct a first-time applicant to apply for a Washington State single state license. If you already hold a single state license, you can just exit this application, but at a later date, for an individual who is no longer enrolled in an alternative to discipline program, they would then again be eligible to click no. The next set of questions here are personal data questions. All applicants must answer the personal data questions based upon the profession they're applying for. And these questions are standard for all of our application types for the Board of Nursing. So you'll go ahead and select the correct answers for each individual circumstance. If you do mark yes to any of these questions, then you'll be prompted to enter an explanation and provide court documentation if applicable. We're going to just go ahead and select no to all of these questions. The next question here, this is very specific to someone who's already been issued a single state license and is applying for a conversion or upgrade to a multi-state license in Washington State. I'm going to say that this test applicant was initially licensed by examination in Washington State. Again, if you are an applicant applying for your first license in Washington State, whether by examination or endorsing from another state, there will be additional questions that you will see after the personal data question to include verification of your other state license, additional information for exam applicants, If you were educated outside the United States and this is your first license and you're applying for a multi-state license, then you would see questions about your transcript evaluation and your English proficiency. And all of our questions have this fee, or all of our applications have this fee attestation, which reads, I have read the application instructions on the Washington State Board of Nursing website. I attest to applying for the correct nursing credential type. This includes the correct designation if applying for an A&P credential. I understand that all application fees related to this application are refundable per WAC 246-12-340. We're going to go ahead and select that. Again, initials and date is going to populate. And then last, the applicant's attestation stating that you are the person described and identified within this application. You've read relevant laws pertaining to the Uniform Disciplinary Act of Washington State. You have answered all questions truthfully and completely. The documentation provided is support of your application is correct to the best of your knowledge. You have read all laws and rules related to the profession of nursing. And you understand that if participating in an alternative to discipline program in any state, this must be reported to Washington State Board of Nursing. So we're going to go ahead and select yes, that we've read this and it's correct. And the last thing here is just going to be a follow-up checklist and explaining where documents may be sent to the Washington State Board of Nursing. You can upload documents to this online application portal within 14 days of starting your application. So meaning to say if you apply and you still need to go get a copy of your tax return to upload for your PSOR documentation, you can do that within 14 days. If it's been more than 14 days, that doesn't mean your application is closed. It just means you're going to have to email that to us instead. And any of those documents can be emailed to wabonlicensing@goh.wa.gov, the email listed here. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Next, you'll see an application payment screen prompted. And there is a $2.50 convenience fee with the online application portal. This is across the board for all healthcare credentials in the Department of Health. And the fee for a multi-state license upgrade is $65. If you are in the process of, you have an active and renewal registered nurse or licensed practical nurse in Washington State, you're going to want to go ahead and renew that license also. That's separate from this conversion process. You do still need to renew your license. And that's done through a different service code back at the initial screen of the Secure Access Washington page. But for this, this individual has an active license that's not in renewal, so we're going to just go ahead and proceed. Pay the $65. Pay my credit card. Next. Okay, and we have nurse applicant with our Department of Health address listed here. $65 with a $2.50 fee. And then we have a test. This is not a real payment, a test account. And you're going to mark that you're not a robot. And click next. Miss the state. If you miss anything, this OLOC online application portal will prompt you to enter that information. And we're going to go ahead and pay. And you have the ability to print your receipt here or go ahead and continue on to the next screen. At this point, you can upload your primary state of residence document, so either your driver's license, and we just need a copy. So please, if at all possible, upload a PDF copy. We've had quite a few issues with phones and camera photos. iPhones in particular seem to generate a format that is not recognized by the Department of Health's system. So we have been having to send deficiency emails to those applicants asking them to resend as a PDF. So please be sure to upload as a PDF. And we'll go ahead and skip this step for now. You do have 14 days from the day you start your application, or you can just go ahead and email that document to us. But please do this as soon as possible when you apply. Otherwise, we get your application, we review it, and then we have to send a deficiency email to the email on file asking for that document before we are able to proceed. Go ahead and skip for now. And here you will see your submitted application. You can click on this and you'll have the ability to download the PDF copy of your application that was submitted. And that is pretty much it. Once we have your application for conversion in our office, what we will do is complete the initial review of your application. We will send you an email to the email on your application with instructions for how to complete your fingerprint process. And then once your fingerprints have been submitted back to the Department of Health, those will be reviewed, and we will go ahead and be able to proceed with the review and conversion upgrade of your single state license to a multi-state license if all requirements have been met. Thank you for watching this video, and please let us know if you have any questions.